Kia ora everyone, I'm Sam Ribelt. This interview was recorded at the Meet the Candidates event at the Matarangi Golf Club on the 17th of August 2025. A key issue for youth in the Coromandel is finding employment and finding housing. What are some things that you would do as mayor to help ease that burden from the youth?
We've got to encourage development. We've got to encourage the construction industry. We have to encourage hospitality. We have to encourage convention centres. We've got to encourage tourism. Now look, how do we go about that? First of all, we've got to actually make sure that we've got the infrastructure capable of dealing with that. If we've got that in hand, then we should encourage development. With the development, it's the biggest industry in this town, other than the TCDC, in this district, is of course construction. We've got all sorts of programs already instituted where apprenticeships are available. The schools promote this. We can't, as a mayor or as a council, ultimately direct how that's going to happen. It has to be down to private enterprise. They've got to take the risk. They've got to see that. They've got to take the rewards as well. They've got to see that there is value in encouraging youth employment. There is also an issue of housing, which I'm afraid, again, it is not a district issue. It is an issue that is controlled by demand. If there is demand, there will be. So, as I run Enterprise Whangamata, and we've got a real problem in Whangamata, where in the peak season we cannot find accommodation for our people that come into to service hospitality and entertainment. So what do? So we put forward to council a whole lot of ideas of temporary housing that could accommodate that. No, that was swept aside, and they have made it really difficult for us to actually. And we were going to fund it ourselves. You've got to remember that the whole of the Coromandel was based on volunteerism. These roads didn't appear from nowhere. They were actually created by people who came here. Let's put a shingle down. Let's make the road. Let's improve it. Now everyone seems to think that you just have to hand it over to council, and they'll suddenly come up with miraculous amount of money or miraculous solutions to the problems. These are local problems that need local input, and they need really good encouragement from council. And that's down to the likes of encouraging development.
So you want to put in place not looser restrictions, but allow more people to build things for themselves by removing roadblocks that council is putting in? Correct.
Remove the roadblocks and let council shouldn't be trying to make a profit out of all of this. It should be just encouraging, putting policies that allow things to happen, and then stepping aside and letting private enterprise take over and accommodate and take the profit, if there is such a thing as profit.
So these private enterprise also might not have the public's best interest at heart. How would council let private enterprise build the Coromandel, but also make sure that it keeps the people in mind instead of only seeking profit, if that is something that could happen?
Well, you've got to go back to the issue that you basically raised. We've got a youth that can't find employment. The council can't offer the employment, can they? We've got a set policy. That's all council can do, is set policy, step out of the road and let private enterprise take the risk and benefit from the reward. Now, that policy is not about reckless, let's go and bust up this and bust up that and so someone can make a profit. No, it's setting good policy that encourages development for our people. And that development is just one part of it, is of course youth employment. We've just had in Whangamata, we've just had a careers roadshow, and that's been a great success. We had hundreds of students come along. We had all sorts of businesses and enterprise from the district and from Whangamata who encouraged and offered employment in the future through apprenticeships and the likes.
Do you have any ideas of policy that would help to drive development in the Coromandel?
Well, you can't just have willy-nilly development. You've got to basically go back to basics, and you've got to say, have we got sufficient infrastructure to allow this to happen? Once you've got established that, or a time frame for that to be established, then I suggest yes, we have got all the opportunities in the world. In Whangamata, and I'll use this just as an example because I'm at first hand, that we need a spatial plan which says, okay, we've done about as much infill as we can, so where are we going to go? What resources are going to be needed to expand the size of Whangamata? Now, this is just one part of the equation in terms of employment through trainees and apprenticeships, but it's also you've got to grow the hospitality. This is what this town is this whole peninsula is about. It's hospitality and it's also development. It's construction. We can't get away from it. We can't suddenly magically turn it into anything other than else. This is what, and within 2.5 hours of our doorstep, we've got half of New Zealand's population. Half of New Zealand's population. We've got to encourage them to come here, not in the peak season, but in the shoulder season. So that's what I do with Enterprise Whangamata. I've got a series of off-peak shoulder events that will encourage visitation here. From around, if we can attract international tourists, hey, what a great bonus! What a great bonus! But that's ultimately all we can do is create an environment for private enterprise to actually achieve growth in the likes of hospitality, conference, and also construction. Can't see any other solution.
How do we incentivize these private organizations to develop in the Coromandel?
It's a good question, actually. I don't know how to answer that, but all I can say is that if you provide a framework where people can actually know, yes, I can go and do that, or I can go and put the money in. I'll give you an example. The Hopper waterways, they spend millions and millions of dollars getting consents, getting everything ready to actually do a development. And council then step into the middle and make it obstructive. It's about the council culture, allowing council to actually enable development, enable within quite obviously good guidelines. They have to enable it and then step away and let it happen, because we don't have the skill sets or the ability to actually do that. You may have heard tonight about Totara Valley. Well, it started off as $11 million. It's now run to $14 million that the council has put in on a district-funded basis to a subdivision. Now, all of that risk should have been taken by the developer. That particular developer did a development over in Apito Bay, where they took all the risk. But they got to Thames, and there they found a very, very soft, compliant council that allowed them. So how is council going to get the money back? Well, council put this money in, and there's more to go, be rest assured. From the subdivision and the development contributions, they expect to get a repayment of the money. It'll never happen. It will never happen. But if you put in policy that's good, clear, encourage development, people will go ahead and invest the money. And these are millions and millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars. And the reward should be justified. But council shouldn't be involved in it. They've got to actually,
So your answer is creating strong legislation that allows for private enterprise to take risks, reap profits, while maintaining strong guidelines to make sure that private enterprises don't just go and build whatever they want, wherever they want.
You actually summed it up very well. You're quite right.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to follow Coromind on our socials and subscribe.